Hey, Zane Griggs here. I just want to let you know something you've probably heard before, but I want to explain it in a little more detail. How sugar causes really aging and many of the diseases that we are also concerned about are lifestyle-based diseases like heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's. Okay, so many of you have heard this, but you don't. You hear a lot of sound bites in the news and in stories and from people like me, social media, and you may not understand what's going on there. So I'm going to give you kind of a overview without getting too sciencey. I say in the little headline there that sugar causes AGE, age in big letters. Well, AGE is actually an acronym for advanced glycation endpoints, which is when sugar attaches itself to a protein, oxidizes it, and that protein kind of basically moves around causing damage. It causes damage into other cells. It creates oxidation. Oxidation is essentially rust. So basically sugar, and when I say sugar, I'm including starches that are easily broken down, like bread, wheat bread or otherwise, and kind of bread, really starchy, high glycemic foods that are not attached to a lot of fiber. Okay, so by the way, wheat bread has a higher glycemic index than even sugar. So yes, sounds funny. I'll talk about that another time. But they break down into sugar and they cause oxidation. They cause rust. Okay, and so in the heart, in the arteries, when you have inflammation and oxidation hitting cells, hitting artery walls, we create plaque around there to protect it. It's our immune system actually protecting the inside walls of our arteries from the inflammation. And so when you're having excessive amounts of sugar, okay, let's say you're sucking down a soda, maybe a bunch of bread, a big thing of pasta, and it's more than your body is going to soak up in its muscles, it's floating around, it's causing damage, okay? And this damage is what causes the plaque to load up in your arteries, not fats, okay? Not eating egg yolks and avocados or, a nice big steak, okay? It's the sugar, it's the easily digested starch, okay? With Alzheimer's, they're calling it type 3 diabetes because of its link to the way our bodies react to sugar and starches, because insulin plays a part in, and the sugars play a part in causing those same kind of plaques we get in our arteries in our brain, and causing hardening of the brain. And the lack of fats in our diet, if you're following a low-fat diet, also contributes to the shrinking of the brain and the deterioration of the brain, which is made up primarily of fats and cholesterol, which coats all of our nerve endings, okay, including the ones in your brain. And with cancer, all cancer cells, we probably know this, are related to, well, not related to, they burn sugar at a higher rate than most other cells, and they burn it differently. And they cannot, unlike other cells, they cannot burn fat and ketones. So if you're on a ketogenic diet, you're taking ketones, cancer cells can't burn those. Which is why definitely a low carb, but a ketogenic diet is often recommended for people who are fighting cancer. So they have lots of veggies, some proteins, and keep ketones in there for the brain to burn and for your body to burn instead of carbohydrates. So think about, feel free to comment on this. Look into AGEs. If you haven't heard of those before, just Google it. You'll find a wealth of information. And check out, I'm going to talk to you about this next week, but check out NPR's latest release about the story, the documentation of the Harvard doctors who laid the blame on fat instead of sugar, and we'll find out why, when looking into the causes of heart disease back in the 60s. Yeah, they laid the blame towards fatty foods, saturated fat, cholesterol, rather than sugar, which is where the evidence really seemed to point to. So feel free to comment below, as I said. I'd love a like on my page if you thought this was valuable, and I'll talk to you later.